All right, guys. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulty here, or whatever.
All right, the minutes were emailed out for everybody. Hey, Bill, Eric, y'all want to join us?
You don't want to hang with me, Eric. I'm in trouble all the time.
I don't know. The minutes were emailed out for review and we're about to do approval. Did anybody have any corrections? We had 11 We had $7. I saw the well, yeah, part of it was $50. Well, I've got that in for today, and we'll discuss it. If you don't mind, I'm not interested in that, because that is. No, don't interact with it. Okay, it's all good. Okay. Well, then,
It's like you found it.
do
Yes.
I have a motion to accept the minutes as written? Debbie, do I have a second? Okay, the minutes have been moved to be accepted, and first and second. Everyone who is in approval, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, so it is passed.
Stuart, did you get a burger?
Right, under old business, we are sponsoring a student from the Eagle Mountain School District, as is our pilot student, and all the paperwork has been done and has been approved. Yes, fantastic news. Now I'm going to go over important dates real quick, just as a reminder to everybody. The third Monday of each month is Union Gospel Serving Line volunteers. However, I just heard Sergio said that we're not having.
We are online.
June 22nd, 6:30 to 8:45, installation banquet for the incoming governor, Andy Eads. If you're interested, that's at Circle R Ranch, Rotarian. June 25th, installation of club officers at 6:30 p.m. at Mama Mia's. Sharon Miles will do the installation. That is to install Bill and all of the incoming officers. So please.
Thank you so much.
Do it.
Did she order? Okay, we're gonna play it together. So she's not gonna eat much today. So I think what we're gonna do is let her flip brownie, but she won't let me brownie by.
June the 27th.
We're gonna do that now.
April the 25th is the Rotary District
Oh, there it
cruise.
is.
Under new business, we've got
Suicide.
several things that we're going to be addressing very quickly.
And
While we're
inside of
waiting on Roger, though, to wrap up this is part of the business, we're going to go right to Bill Sanner. He has a list of proposed incoming officers. Please, everybody review it, and then we're going to do a vote to approve. The way I understand it, he has talked to each person individually, and these officers, proposed officers, have agreed to take these positions. But if anyone is interested in holding a position, please do not be shy about speaking up. Everyone wants to see someone have a position of some kind. That would all about our own skills.
Thank you.
I just realized I accidentally left Janelle off of the list. I'll
You can mention that. Okay, Bill, you have the floor for about 5 minutes.
I only need 3.5.
Okay.
So all of the people that are on this list have volunteered their time and effort.
I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
You don't get a voice.
When you and I first sat down together.
Yes, for this coming year.
Yeah.
This coming year.
Okay, I did.
So, no, I don't think I pulled any wool over anybody's eyes. I did accidentally left program chair off, and that is for Ms. Janelle Kavanaugh, who is going to be be our program chair for the coming year.
Right.
Now that doesn't mean, being program chair does not mean she does all the programs. It means that she'll coordinate them, and she'll do a great job of that. I should have included her in my prayer just a little while ago, and I'm sorry I didn't. She took a pretty good spill about 3 or 4 or 5 days ago, and got a black face out of it. I mean, she just turned, I mean, it's really terrible.
All right, back to this.
Okay, so imagine just for a moment there's one more line on there that said program chair, and it says Janelle Kavanaugh.
Okay.
So, do we have any volunteers or somebody that would like to take a particular spot in the organization for this coming year that I didn't talk to about it? Okay, since I don't hear anything being said by anybody, I assume that means that there aren't any.
May I have a motion to accept the incoming officers as proposed?
So moved.
So moved. Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, then all in agreement, please raise your right hands. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion is passed. Officers accepted.
You'll
Thank you.
notice, of course, that there's nobody in the president-elect seat.
I got you.
Yes.
We'll fill that later.
Yes, absolutely we will. Okay, let me write that down real quick.
Could be.
Oh, okay.
No,
That was an option.
no. Well, we tried that once and it just absolutely wore them out. There are actually some clubs who do 2 years, but when we tried it, it was not.
Okay.
The 13th month is great, and then 14th it starts going downhill.
Okay, while I make some notes on the motion we just did, I'm going to turn the floor over to Roger. He has a special presentation he wants to do.
Yes, I do.
And we're going to keep it a secret who it is.
Yeah, so being over the foundation for our district, it is very important that we understand that giving to the foundation is what the life of Rotary is. And we understand not everybody can give a lot, but everybody can give a little bit. It goes towards Paul Harris, which is a designation and award, and there we go, and an award to our members. But with Rotary, Rotary is a little different. Rotary is unlike any other charity I've ever seen. Is literally all the money that we give to the foundation goes into a interest-bearing account for 3 years. They're very good at how they do that. They use that interest to run the infrastructure of Rotary. Now, even the Rotary president of Rotary International is not a paid position. We've got 1.4 million members, though 1.4 million members in Rotary that are unpaid, unheard of. So we have a member that we would like to present today that is in our Paul Harris Society. Paul Harris Society is a pledge. Now, we don't have Rotary police. We don't beat you up if you don't do it, but it is a pledge that you're going to give $1,000 a year to the Rotary Foundation. And then you can pick and choose however you want that. If you want it to go to a shared account, if you want that to go to polio, if you want that to go to disaster response, whatever it may be. So our presentation today is our newest member in Rotary that is in our Paul Harris Society, and that is Debbie Morton. You get a chevron,
That attaches to
which
your
is like
pen.
a Texaco but different. And then
Pay me later.
Yes.
and then we have this, which is special to our district because no other district has this. But this is a
Oh, we need a picture.
Oh, how
Yeah,
cool.
yes, I can't do a picture. Put that around your.
Wait. All right. Stop that. That's all. Thank you.
She didn't like the bunny ears. She didn't like bunny ears.
Oh, did you do the
Yeah, she went to
He pulled them down.
Well, thank you. I'm shocked.
Well, we could have had 4 because Eric would have been over there too.
Eric's not back into full swing yet.
No, I'm not. A little behind.
And you're an honorary member.
Yes.
Yes.
Funny year.
Yeah. It's different than most of your honorary because you're not saying your honor. I was not.
Your
No.
honor.
Yeah. Thank you, Roger. Okay, I have got
Oh.
some.
Let me present that. There we go.
Yeah,
Sorry, guys.
Who's online?
We have Janelle and Clint online right now.
Hi, guys.
Call me Israel.
Yeah.
Call me Israel.
Stop. Okay, just so you. Not a lick. He's been off honing his skills. Okay, I know that it seemed like we had no official fundraiser other than our garage sale, which was it. And but to let y'all know, we did actually raise some substantial funds this year, doing the bucket duck sales and the garage sale. We have had, and the flags. The flag installation is another of our fundraisers. We've done a total to date of $949.11. So
Actually, we did a little bit more. Roger told me.
yeah, I was about to say that. And why don't you tell everybody what you know about the incoming? Didn't you say you've got some more notices too, or is it just what Roger said?
No, it's what Roger told me. So it's like $1,141.
Wow,
$1,141,
$141.
I think.
I'll say more or less.
Yeah, because Roger actually did $385 worth of flags, and then there was one that Eric did back in July of last year.
Yeah. Now, is that incredible or not? For
Awesome.
not being overly proactive, other than our garage sales, we still managed to bring it in. And as y'all know, part of this money from the garage sale, where's that at? The $539.11, that is designated for Ryla student next year. And but the rest of it will be open season on it. y'all can vote on how to do that. And we do have another garage sale upcoming here in June, so that's still part of this Rotary year that we'll be able to add to that fund. So July? Is that when it's not in July? It's not in June?
So it'll be next year.
Okay, so it'll be the beginning of your year. Okay. Oh my gosh, do you know I would have driven back from East Texas on June the 18th? That's why I was saying we were in such a rush to get that stuff to your house.
June 18th is tomorrow.
June the 18th is tomorrow, by the way.
Is it? Holy cow. What world am I in today? I'm so tired. Okay, well, we'll worry about that later.
Now, July the 6th.
Oh.
All hands
Okay.
turn out for the garage. It's going to be at my house.
Yes.
My yard.
Yes.
And we have a wonderful neighborhood and we live on a road that's just perfect for having yard sales. So
That is wonderful.
In this very case, it's worth it. Well, I'll tell you what.
And what day is July 6th? A Saturday?
Yeah, and I will be driving back from East Texas.
Okay.
I do have that right. I will be down there then too. Okay, but I'll be there bright and early. Don't worry about that.
What are the hours for the garage sale?
Well, from start to finish.
I think we had 8 o'clock, didn't we, to start? I think we had 8 o'clock. Isn't that correct? Let me look at.
That sounds like a good starting time.
Let me look at the minutes.
People go out doing yard sale buying,
Yeah.
and they're at it early.
Yeah.
We've got July 6th at 8 a.m. And everybody will be sent his address. Okay, so this $1,141 is the total that we made during this Rotary year. That will be finalized on that.
Is that the donation that Janelle and I made?
No, it doesn't.
What donation are you talking about?
For the Ryla
Paid
scholarship.
for a Riley kid.
Yes, you did, and it's been paid for, and the student came from Eagle Mountain Saginaw.
Not the question. I asked if the numbers were included in the donations for this year.
No, donations are not fundraising unless it's donated to a fundraiser. You donated it to the Riley student. Okay, y'all tell me what you want to do, and we'll log it in the correct place. But I would have said no.
If it's not considered a donation, what is it considered?
It's a donation. I think she's looking at
It-
actual fundraising.
It's fundraising. Yeah, we didn't actively raise those funds. Y'all donated them for the RILA students. And thank you very much.
That's semantics, but
Yeah.
regardless, I just want to make sure that that's included in our numbers.
Oh,
In-
yeah, it will be. At the end of the year, we will
Okay, good.
do all of the.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna turn this over very, very briefly for Roger. He needs to talk to y'all about the flag program and the flag program for the upcoming year. Roger, are you free to chat for a moment?
Get over here where they can see me. Okay. Hi there. All right. So our flag program is something that Eric and Lillian put together. It worked very well. I have asked for some changes that I copied Debbie and Linda Jean on this morning to John Courtney. We have on our website, we do all of DFW. I don't think we need to do all of DFW. DFW is a big place.
Yeah.
So I did an installation yesterday. One house was a 72-mile round trip, just for one installation. So we're not doing Parker County
Anymore.
But the guy owns a business off 820. I'm going to hit him up for. You need like 5 flags in front of your business. But we seem to have a neighborhood HOA that's really active in the Haslett area, not far from where Eric's house is. And we've done 3, 4, 5 flags in that neighborhood in the last couple of weeks. So the word's getting out a little bit on that. So I've asked John to make some changes to it to reflect Tarrant County only. We can work on it from there, but if we just put the cities in there, it's going to make it really difficult because we're going to leave somebody out. We're going to leave out, Haltom City, or we're going to leave out River Oaks or whatever. So right now we just have Tarrant County only. We do need to make sure that we have some backups in the district. Eric was primary on that. We have a 10-foot flagpole that we get. It's a electrical conduit pole that we drill a couple of holes in, and we get those at Home Depot or Lowe's, either one. And so any volunteers kind of needs to have a full-size SUV or a pickup truck because that's a 10-foot pole, and it just won't go well in a sedan or something like that. So what we do is we buy the pole, a 10-foot electrical conduit. We drill 2 holes in it. We put a zip tie in there. We have our flags that we put in there, which is a vinyl flag, and then we have a plastic PVC pipe that we have cut at an angle, and it's 10 inches tall. I'm changing that to 8 inches because every place I've gone to drill, you can go in 8 inches, and then that last 2 inches is like, solid rock. But people are very happy with the flag program. Y'all did what, 60, I think?
Yeah.
Ballpark, crazy. Yeah. We sell them at $55 each. Our cost in them is about $15 each. Most other Rotary clubs rent the flags and maintain the flags. We don't do that.
Right.
We sell the flags.
Here you go. You want to buy this? We'll put it in, and you take care of it forever.
Because our membership is pretty much scattered throughout Tarrant County.
Yeah.
And we couldn't really figure out when we did it, we really couldn't figure out a place to do that. Am I running out of time?
You
I'm
have
running out of
already
time.
run out.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so everybody got that? We're doing the flag program. John's changing that up in the website. We'll be sending out the link to the website to it and make that happen.
And Bill, we're out of flags, so we have to make a decision on buying some more.
Yeah, we'll need to buy
We
some.
are out of
We're out of flags, but just to tell you this, we need more volunteers to help install. So if we don't have any more volunteers, then we need to seriously discuss whether or not we can continue the flag program. Okay, so let's move on. And moving on is me telling you guys, sign on. This is my last meeting. Bill will be your incoming president, taking over, and I want you to know what an honor this has been, what a pleasure it has been, and I so appreciate y'all's patience with my surgery and recovery period. Thank you. Okay. Roger, would you please introduce our speaker?
I will. All right. So we have Stuart Hill. Stuart Hill's a Rotarian with the Fort Worth South Club.
Right.
How many years?
10.
10 years.
Yep.
All right. So, you are a CPA by trade.
Yep.
And you were involved in my pandemic year, which we didn't do anything, but you were involved in my pandemic year.
That was a rough
But you were willing, but we couldn't get that done. So, you are also a John Maxwell trainer. Is that correct?
Yep.
So, don't know much about your personal life or anything. I just know that you're Fort Worth South and
Yep.
you're willing to come to the table to help.
Yep. I'm here.
All right. All right, then I'll put your presentation on.
All right. Good. Hi, everybody. My name's Stuart Hill, like Roger said. Boy, the pandemic year was sort of rough on it. I'm from Granbury. I live in Granbury. I was born here in Fort Worth, so I may not sound like it, but I'm a Texan and by birth. And I want to share with you today, one, high road leadership. We're in a political year. The 2000 election was pretty rough and sort of rancorous, and we're going to head into the same sort of thing. So I'm not going to get into too much into politics. But this is an idea that John Maxwell has been working on for like 6 to 9 months about how do we do this better as far as being, our elections and our politics. I bet. Do you have a rule here in your Rotary Club that you don't talk politics?
Not that I know of.
No.
Ask Linda. Linda, do we have an anti-politics talk rule here?
No,
Okay.
not really.
If anybody's running for office, we try to give you a comment to
Present to? Okay. Keep it fair. Yeah, so we have a rule at ours that absolutely no politics and no religion. So we try and keep everything pretty mild. Anyways, let me go into a little bit about my background with the John Maxwell team. And first is, who is John Maxwell? Okay. So anytime you hear John Maxwell speak, he'll tell you, his first thing is, it's sort of his stick. He'll tell you he's your friend. And I have had the ability to visit John at his house, usually meet up once or twice a year through program, activity, training to work with him. And I've done this for the last 11 years. So actually 13 years. I started in 2011, and my history is I worked for General Dynamics. I joined the General Dynamics team in 1988. Same year my grandfather retired. He'd been there since 1952. And I've had 2 grandmothers work there, and so I think it's a great place to work. In 2000, I worked in the accounting department, and I was asked to lead the billing and collections for Lockheed Martin's aeronautics sector. So if you're not familiar, does anybody work with Lockheed Martin here? No. So Lockheed Martin aeronautics sector composes Skunk Works in California, where they make used to make F-117 and some various classified programs. Fort Worth, where we make the F-16, F-22, and so forth, and then JSF Strike Fighter, F-35 today. And then in Marietta, Georgia, north of Atlanta, they did final assembly on the F-22s and C-130s and C-5As. So really, really big airplanes. My group was responsible for doing the billing and collections, and thankfully we did really well the first year. We billed and collected $9.8 billion. And I had a problem that was slowly developing. I was working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day to make all this happen. And my team was too. But people were very quickly getting worn out. And we had 12 kids working for us, basically. just directly out of college, and that was really rough on them because they weren't as committed as I was to what I was doing and my mission and my goals. And I realized that as they started, they were very talented. We hired some of the best kids out of Maryland, Virginia Tech, University of Virginia, Pitt, and so forth. Very talented young kids, and they were getting cherry picked by other departments. As soon as we get them in, get them trained, they saw how good they were because they interfaced with these other departments, and they would get, picked out of our group, and they go to other ones. So I had a problem, and the problem was I needed to work on my leadership skills and leadership ability, and I didn't know that until Lockheed sent me to their strategic training for managers, and that was in Pittsburgh. And in Pittsburgh, I learned a deal called Myers-Briggs, and Myers-Briggs tells you your personality. Well, mine, INTJ, which means I'm very judging, I'm very technical. Opposite of technical is feeling. So, and actually, when I did my testing, I tested 100% T and 0 F. So, in me processing and working with people, it was all on a technical level. It was not on a feeling or relationship level. And so, I realized I needed to make a change to what I was doing when I was going through the strategic training. So, that was a big highlight. And when I became manager for Lockheed Martin, my wife got me a book, John Maxwell's book, 21 Laws of Leadership. And that's one of John's most popular books. And she got that because she knew I was going into management and probably going to need some help there along the ways. And then after this training, a director that was over the accounts payable for Lockheed Martin, he gave me one of John's books. It was a 3-part book on developing leader within you, becoming a person of influence, and the winning attitude. And the winning attitude, I read this book over 3 days in my father-in-law's house. Got some boxed wine, sitting on the back patio in South Carolina, and I read the book in 3 days, just straight through. It was a very quick read. And I realized that this is what I needed. This is what was the problem I needed help with in my team. And part of the deal was I wasn't dealing with these young kids on a relational basis. It was more on a technical basis. I'm very technical. I'm very good at that side of it, but it wasn't good enough to do what I needed to do. So I needed to change. That's what brought me into wanting to join the John Maxwell team. Then I left Lockheed Martin because I wanted to actually move back to Texas. We were living in Maryland. We moved there just right before 9/11. And 9/11 got really crazy, really fast in Washington, D.C. We went to, I've never been in a city where you actually had blackouts because they're worried about, being attacked, They didn't know what was going on back then. They didn't know what was going to happen. And they were literally went into a World War II blackout where no lights on outside. Not that we couldn't find Washington, D.C. with, great precision anyways, but because of GPS and all kinds of other things. But that was a wake up call, and my wife was ready to move back to Texas and get out of that crazy town because we dealt with 9/11, anthrax, the sniper deal. It was just one thing after another when we were living there. And so she had enough. We moved back here, but I couldn't get a job back in Fort Worth because they were going through some layoffs and so forth. And I talked to a lady down in Fort Worth. She's over the Fort Worth, Texas side as a CPA. So I'm a CPA. I have an office in Fort Worth. And I've been a CPA in Fort Worth for 10 years. I got my license. Very well run, very well managed company that had great leadership, to a company that was not quite as good, but it was still very good. It was Bell Helicopter. And then I was there for 4 years to help them implement the billing collections using SAP there for them. And then my boss calls and says, "Hey, would you come work for me?" Boy, I didn't know what he was getting me into, but he got me into a big mess. I went to work for a company called Computer Science Corporation. I don't know if anyone knows that company. we were responsible for the computers and telephones, servers, all the network connections and all that stuff for a large company. And we managed all their assets all around the world. So they had things in Brazil, they had things in Europe, they had stuff in Australia, just around the world. And I liked that aspect of it, but it was one of the most brutal, ugly companies to work for from a leadership standpoint. And this is the time I've been there for a number of years, and I was really searching for something to break out of, the slump I was in. And I got this email that said, "Come join the John Maxwell team." And it says, if you pay up front, you can meet John Maxwell at a reception at his house. And so I knew who he was because I had read 2 of his books, and I liked his messaging. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this. This is sort of a change, something I need to do. And I asked my wife. It was her birthday, and we were on the way to the beach. And I said, "Hey, I really want to do this." And she goes, "Whatever you want to do." And we're going to the beach. Doesn't matter. And so I signed up, and I think back then it was like $5,000 investment to join, and all these things are sort of expensive. And this program ended up being, intensity-wise, like a master's level program. It was more than what you would get in a 4-year program. It was very intense on the training and so forth. They have a very nice library, and I have a huge library of things I can teach and train from them, and I can share with people, and I do. I got to meet John Maxwell at his house, and that's a picture of me in 2011 at his house. And the picture below is the president, and we're at a party in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic, and that's a really nice place to go visit for vacation. It's a Margaritaville resort kind of thing. Now, I'll tell you in just a second what that was about. I want to go back to these things here. So joined in 2011. They have the Maxwell leadership team. There's approximately 50,000 people who have gone through a program like this. And there are people from almost every country in the world, all 178 countries. There's pretty much someone there. The reason there's someone there from almost every one of the countries is the outreach from a group called Equip, John Maxwell's charitable organization. Their goal is actually to provide leadership training to every country in the world. And they reached that goal about 15 years ago, maybe. It's been a while, but they met that goal and they've trained a lot of people. So that's another avenue to do this. Change here. Flip the page. So I went too far. You can go back to Roger.
What's that?
You can go back to. So what do I do as a John Maxwell coach? Over the last 13 years, I started out with this introduction to John at his house, and that was very important to me. And the immediate next thing I did is I joined up, and I joined a level called mentorship. Mentorship took what we were learning at the entry level, and it took what we were doing on a weekly basis and crammed that into, and basically multiply the level by 5. So every day you got the same things. Every day we had access to coaches, access to coaches and trainers to help speak, help coach, how to do presentations, and through that, it made a big difference in what I do as a CPA. I love talking to people, helping people grow their business. And the people that were helping with sales, the president of the company, named Paul Martinelli, is very good at strategically setting up sales and setting up programs that have value to help people. And so that's what we've done in my CPA practice. And with the CPA practice, just real quick, we can do your accounting, your bookkeeping, your taxes, and that's all just the basic blocking and tackling stuff. On top of that, my goal is to help people grow their businesses. How do we do that? I help them grow their leadership, because 80% of the companies fail in the first 5 years after they start. And why do they fail? And one of the biggest reasons is their leadership ability to either drive sales or just lead them themselves, because it's not easy being an entrepreneur, because you're on an entrepreneurial roller coaster. So we help them with the leadership, we help them with the sales, and then we help them with coaching and mentoring. How do you grow your business? On top of that, once a month I host a program called Financial Wisdom, and that's a program with John Maxwell. He's on the video, and he usually has a guest, and we talk about ideas on how to grow your financial wisdom. Now, we're not telling people which stocks to pick or which real estate investments to do. We're talking more about the mindset that you need as an investor to grow your personal finances. And that's the biggest problem people have in getting started, is having the right mindset. And internally, I do training programs. One of my biggest training programs that I do is called Live to Lead. Live to Lead I do in October. And again, it's a program with John Maxwell. And there's usually 3 or 4 speakers that come along. It's a half-day event. And we're sharing ideas, how to grow your business, how to grow your leadership. How do you grow as a person to be more successful in what you do? And then, so that results in me being more capable and better at what I do. And also allows, when I can grow myself in leadership, then I can help other people that are around me and reproduce what I do. And if I can get leaders that are higher level leaders to work with me, now I have a larger impact and effect on what I do. And that's the number one reason for why leadership is so important. So as a result of leadership is necessary to increase your leadership lid. I'm going to talk about leadership lid in just a minute. That refers to the 21 laws of leadership. The first law is leadership lid. I'll cover that in a minute. So increasing your leadership ability increases your effectivity and your productivity. Next, I want to talk about, on the John Maxwell team program, one of the most fun and really part of being success and turning success into significance is what's called country transformation, the John Maxwell team. The John Maxwell team has been to Guatemala, Paraguay, Costa Rica, I'm missing something, Dominican Republic, and in July, roughly a month from now, there's 180 coaches just like me going to Panama to start country transformation there. So country transformation is about helping people improve and understand values so that they can improve their lives. And what we do is we go into a country and we do we do a tabletop training, and there'll be 6 people at the table on a big round table. And then what I do is I demonstrate the training, and then the team will pick a leader, and then that leader will do the training themselves next. And so once I demonstrate it and they do it, now they all understand how to deliver the training, and they become we're training the trainer in country. And the ideally is we take 180 so coaches, and when I went to the Dominican Republic, we trained 46,000 people in 4 days. So these are pictures. The first place I went was the Pippin bread factory. So I trained supervisors at the Pippin bread factory. And the middle picture is I was working with the university, and we had a training of teachers and administrative staff at the university there. And they took us to lunch. They actually have a beach club where they have lunch in the city. So, and outside the beach club is the beach and the ocean right there. It's very nice. Top right is a group of people, and my business partner, Sri Griffin. we were teaching at the Santo Domingo City Hall. So we're teaching their City Hall, but right across from City Hall. So if you, the picture's not very good, but if you look across the back of us, that's their Congress, and to your right would be their Supreme Court. And so all of it's tucked in right there. Their, the American Republic leadership and for the Congress, the president, and their Supreme Court, along with their City Hall. So I trained at the City Hall, and then on the last day I trained at a I don't know what religion it was, but we were at a church, and it was they had brought in a lot of people, and so this is the group I trained. So all these are people that I trained and worked with during this trip. And every day I would go out with the translator, because I don't speak very good Spanish, and working with the translator, we would do training in the morning, we'd come back, get some lunch, go back out in the afternoon, do another group. So we were doing 2-3 groups a day. And these are some additional pictures. The picture on, no, I changed what I did. On the bottom pictures here, these are all, I can't explain this, why they're wearing hoodies and jackets and stuff. It was 80 degrees in the room, and outside it was warmer. So, but these are all high school kids, and we did the training with them. And the top right is the City Hall group we worked with, and the top left is the group of people that we worked with at the church. So what's transformation about? Transformation brings positive change in the lives of people and communities and nations. Here's another interesting fact. There's been 2 cities in the United States that have started this transformation process. One's in Mississippi, another one I believe is in Tennessee, and I think they did a test case early on in Waxahachie. So John's come here and spoke a couple times down there, and they did the test case down there. I personally would like to see this all throughout the United States. One of my goals, and I'm just going to share this, is not going to happen tomorrow, but I'd like to bring John Maxwell to Fort Worth and do a city transformation. And what happens on these city transformations is they will send a team in, and there's 8 spheres of influence in any community. So you have your political leaders, your religious leaders, your news and sports and all that, your entertainment leadership. There's 8 major spheres of influence in any society, and if you can get those societies to all agree to bring the team in, they'll come in. But they'll not only bring in just a few people, they're going to bring in 200 people, and they're going to be training 50, maybe 50,000 people if they can. Because if you are familiar with Malcolm Gladwell's book, Tipping Point, the whole point is to get to a tipping point. Usually it takes, depending on how many people you have, it may take 10,000 or more people to train before you can start getting a tipping point where you can start getting a mass of movement politically. And that's one of my long-term goals. If I could, and I probably need to get out and speak more and do that kind of thing, but I want to bring John Maxwell to Fort Worth. So the first and most important rule in John's books, if I could do like a week-long training and with a group, it would be this. It would be the 2 days of 21 laws, and then 2 days of the 5 levels of leadership. The 21 laws teach you the laws of leadership, and the 5 levels of leadership teach you how to progress up from level 1, 2, 3 to 4, and 5. And here's how 21 laws works, or the first law, the law of the lid. Your leadership, you have a leadership lid, okay? And it's like think of a glass ceiling. It may be a 5, okay? At a 5, you can only bring in people to work for you that are 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. So that's the level of your leadership ability, and that's the level of the people that you will bring in. And oh, by the way, this applies to every organization. every organization. So every charitable organization, every Rotary organization, every organization. And I'll get back to the politics in a minute, but that's the problem in politics. We need high-level leaders so we can attract high-level leaders to work with them, and so we can generate significant success within the United States. You know, what do they ask you in politics? Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? If you can't answer yes to that, then would you vote to continue on with the current administration? So every 4 years we get this question. And I think this is part of what, the leadership has the ability to raise everybody's lid if we have the right kind of leadership. So if you can grow your leadership from a 5 to a 9, now you can get 6, 7s, and 8s to work for you. And guess what? 6s, 7s, and 8s and maybe 9s are going to do for you. They're going to bring in other leaders at that level. And once you start bringing in leaders at that higher level, now you're going to start not just working with at the lower 5 level where you add leaders to your group. At the higher level of 9, you're bringing people in exponentially. Because a 9 level leader can bring in more people and higher skilled people than a 5 can, right? And as you bring in those higher level people, they're going to multiply what you're doing. And once you have that exponential growth growing for you, you can do things of significance. So that's the law of the lid. The next law is the law of influence. And true leadership is just purely influence, nothing more, nothing less. So how well are you able to influence the outcome of what you want to achieve? This is where businesses fail, because a leader may be very good technically when they start a business. They come out of the workforce and they have very good technical skills, but all of a sudden they start having troubles because they don't have leadership. We doing okay? Okay, thank you. And a lot of the process is leadership is not developed in a day. It's developed daily. You have to work on it, you practice it, you have to work it. Now, to be one of the basic things to grow in your leadership is what John calls real. So real is relationship, equipping people, attitude, and leadership. And this is where I got hooked in when I first started, because I read the book called The Winning Attitude, and I needed some adjustments in that area when I first started. But then it brings me back around to what's the most important thing is the relationships. And you have to learn, if you're like me, so on I know DISC. Am I talking in Greek? Okay. Am I talking a little Greek? DISC is a personality assessment, and I'm a CD. So my first things that I think about in the morning are, I got to get it right, and I got to get it done. So got to get it right is my C, saying I'm very compliant. I need to make sure it's right. I'm a CPA. I can't help it. And then the next thing is I got to get it done. So those conflict a little bit. But when I'm dealing with people that are I's, those are people that are more extroverted. They're the life of the party. They're very outgoing. We don't mix very well, because I'm worried about compliance and they're worried about where the next party's at, and I don't care. Okay? And that's not true. I mean, I like a good party too. But when it comes to doing the business, that's where the relationship part's very good. And I've learned through my training that if I can meet with you for a few minutes and we can chat, I can get an idea of where you're coming from. And once I understand where you're coming from, I've learned to, for the better of the process, adjust how I communicate with the person I'm talking to. So if they're a very extroverted person over here, I can, I need to change to have be successful at communicating. If they're a high C, I'm fine. I can communicate there. But if they're a S, a supportive person, they care about how are they doing? Are they okay? They want to know that everybody's okay. And so I have to start there and then bring them up. And so your nurses are like this. Some of your doctors are like this. A lot of your doctors are high Ds, but anyways. And attitude and relationship. So this is where I would start. So if you learn the laws, you'll increase your influence. There's 21 of them, and they're all very important. Okay, let's come all the way back to the election. What are we going to do? This could get really ugly. It got ugly in what happened in 2000 or January 6th and all that. And we don't want that, right? We don't want things to get sideways like that. So here's how I make a difference. If you have good skills and good values, If you have good skills and good values, then you can raise your leadership. But on the bottom side is, if you have poor skills and poor values, you're going to drag your people down with what you're doing. Okay? So our best place to be was, if we have a president that can help us all raise up and be more successful, would we all like that? Okay. So the important part here is, how do we get to the point where we have good skills and good values? And that's what we teach when we go to country transformations. We're teaching values. First thing I taught was listening skills and communications. So with good skills and good values, we can raise up those who we influence, and leadership rises with leaders in possession of good skills and good values. All right. All right. Here's why high road leadership is very important. I want to grab the book here. It's on the first page, but this is my book, and if you want to look at it, I'll leave it here and let you look at it. This is my book. I have notes in it and stuff, so it's sort of used. But high road leadership is supposed to bring us together. And I think Rotary does that a lot, bringing people together. So think about it. Rotary, have you ever been to the big international conventions? Yeah. I don't know how they're going to do it in Calgary, because Calgary doesn't sound like a very big place. Isn't it, Calgary, Roger? Yeah.
They've done it there before.
They have?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there's just going to be Rotarians there, nothing else. I don't know. There'll probably be a lot there that I don't know about. So high road leadership brings out the best in people. It creates winners. This is the one I really connect with, because I'm a high I, the high extrovert thing's not working. It's less traffic on the road. If you're swimming, are you going to do better if you're swimming upstream or downstream? You can go faster if you're swimming downstream, right? So if the high road is heading into traffic, you're not going to get very far. But if you're going with the flow, you're going to get much further. And then the most important part is high road leadership. Taking the high road is the path to doing things in a significant way. One more. Now I'm going to cut the chase here. This takes a whole lot to go through, but I think the most important thing to take away here is, if you're in the high road leadership, you're trying to add value to people. If you're not in a high road leadership, then you're devaluating people. And that's what we see in our politics. What's the number one thing you want to do? You want to increase the negatives of your opponent and increase your positives. So you're basically sitting there pushing someone down. When you're pushing someone down, you can't help but go down yourself. That's why it's so bad to be devaluing people, because you now have to push people up. But when you pick people up, you're standing up straighter, standing up taller, right? I think that's the number one takeaway here. Brings people together. You close the gap. What do we need in the United States? We need to close the gap on relationships, because we get very crazy. All right. Is there anything else to highlight?
I am so sorry that we are
Out of time?
out of time.
I'll give these to Roger in case anybody wants to have a copy, okay? And I hope that if this interests you, this is a good book to start with, and find a way to communicate with people that we're going to be talking to during the election. Maybe we can have discussions and not.
Thank you so much. It's been very interesting.
Thank you.
Okay, very quickly, do we have anybody who wants to do the director today? Thank you. Work tomorrow, and
Yay, Amy's dad.
I'll brag too.
Okay.
Oh wait, I don't know that I have any money. Never mind. No. I'll get it later, but I'll brag now anyway.
Okay.
I went to see my grandkids. They're just wonderful. Had a great time. Had a great time in Utah. That's worth $2.
Wonderful.
You keep me honest, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if there's nobody else.
You know what, Friday is my last work day as an educator, and so I'll be on the road to South Texas, and so I'll be there for the next 2 weeks. So, and my birthday's on June 25th, so I won't be here.
Oh,
Really?
Oh, and mine is.
Oh my goodness! Happy birthday to all of y'all.
All right.
And what do you mean tomorrow's your last day as an educator?
No,
for the semester, she's done.
School year.
Okay, we still need to get those plaques to you we were talking about. Are you the one from Nigeria? Yeah.
I will still be there through Friday.
Through
Okay.
Friday, and we can just come up the front. And we'll be there.
Oh, except Wednesday in honor of Juneteenth.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Eric,
Okay.
Yes,
would
ma'am.
you? Oh, Bill has a brag. What you got?
I want to donate $1 to honor our speaker for today.
All right. Thank you.
He was a wonderful speaker. Eric,
Yes.
would you lead us in the four-way text?
Yes. The things we think, say, or do. Number one.
Is it the truth?
Number two.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Number three.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And number four.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Number five.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Online. You did a wonderful job. Thank you for presiding. Well, you'll still be around, right?